We are back. It's been a couple weeks. We missed out on last week. Apologies to those there are some that were expecting an episode, so we do want to do it weekly. Just impossible to find the time. How's it going, man?
Good, man. How are you? I'm freezing. It's
good.
like minus 25 here. I'm so sick of winter, I'll tell you that.
That's a good point, because that leads me right into what I was going to say. First and foremost, the greatest holiday of the year. Happy Groundhog Day to you and your family and those who celebrate.
Yes.
Just joking. Groundhog Day kind of sucks. I did a little research, though, before, and I wanted to know, did the groundhog see his shadow? And
today?
Punxsutawney Phil, he did see his shadow, which means 6 more weeks of winter, which I'm sure you're not surprised.
No.
Yeah, he's a bastard.
Yeah. Plus, we live in the Ottawa Valley here, right? So, I mean, we can get winter in friggin' May if you want. It's just wild.
If you want, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but it feels like we've had more winter up through January than we've had in the last 3 years combined. I don't know about you, maybe where you are. We're in kind of different locations for that, but it's the cold. It's either freezing or it's snowing. There's no in between.
Yeah.
And they just go back and forth. And I feel like it's now been we've gotten more winter in the last 2 months than in the last several years combined. It's annoying.
For sure. And we don't have that much snow for it to be this cold. The only good thing about it being a consistent minus 20, minus 30 is that there is an outdoor skating trail not far from us called the Laurentian Valley Four Seasons Trail, and they flood it and you can go skating through the woods. And it's beautiful. Cool. And they light it up at night, and they've got these great big fire pits and whatever, and it's awesome. But it's minus 20. You don't want to go skating. I'm over it. I'll tell you that. I'm over it.
It's been long. Anyway, it's too much. I am wearing my Red Wings hat. I'm just going to say this for a second. My boys are on fire. 13-4-1 under the new coach McClellan, and we got the Canucks happening right now, actually. But I had to represent. I was like, these guys have turned their whole season around, so it might be a staple.
Did they? I turned it off last night because it was way past my bedtime when the game started. 10 p.m. I'm old now, so. Did they beat the Flames last night or what?
They did 3-1.
Yeah,
I know they beat your Oilers the night before, 2 nights before that. It was a hell of a game, man. That was shootout, always fun.
But was McJesus playing?
He was.
Oh,
yeah, he got stopped in the shootout too.
There goes my argument. There goes everything I would. Oh, if McDavid's playing, he was suspended.
Well, when I saw that game, I looked up because he was suspended for 3 games, and I looked up. I'm like, when is he coming back? I'm like, God damn, he's coming right back right before. So. I thought, oh man, so I'm happy with a road win and so
he must have had the rust. He must have had the rust on his blades or something. He probably didn't skate or shoot or anything like that. But
guy's terrible. Yeah,
you can't win them all.
That's true.
Yeah.
So before we get into some of our stuff, let's get some liquid flowing here. What do you got on tap? Or do you want me to go, or do you want to go?
You know what? You go ahead, because I was teasing you a little bit that from my beer history on this podcast, the beer I'm going to have tonight, it doesn't suit. So I think you'll be shocked even. So you go ahead first, and then
beer surprises are pretty good. I think. So I have. We're going to talk about glassware, which sounds more formal than glasses, right? There's a reason they make different beer glasses of different shapes. We're going to talk a little bit about that later. I don't know if I have the proper glass for this beer, but maybe that's what I'll learn later. So I'm a little bit of a novice when it comes to glassware. I do want to start collecting, though. I think that would be really cool as you gain a collection. You got a nice little display behind you there, and I kind of like that. So
yeah, that's years and years of investments, let's call it. But I mean, who knows what type of beer? But we're gonna find out tonight, and
well,
I'm
they're
curious
put to use.
To see your beer. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So first of all, again, it's in my my Detroit Red Wings. I guess this is a they call it a sniffler glass? I believe it's called
snifter or sniffer.
Snifter, that's it.
That's snifter.
See, that's how much I know. So what I have is, I went to Blood Brothers, not last week, the week before, which we'll talk in our beer adventures about. But I grabbed a whole bunch of their different series, and one of them, and I don't know if you've had this one. I've had this once already, but it's the Auto Pop series.
Oh man,
Cherry Cola.
I don't think I've had that cherry cola yet.
No, I think not, because you're a huge Dr. Pepper fan, and I feel like this is sort of Dr. Pepper infused into a beer. So it's a really good taste. I didn't know if it would work, so I've had it once before. So I'm just duplicating it. But you know what? I had 2 of them, so
you have to do it. You have to
for
do
sure.
It.
It's a pretty good color.
Yep.
Oh, you can hear that. That is.
You can hear that. I wish I could see it right now, though.
Glorious. Yeah, I'm gonna pull it up here. I guess the pour. Let me back up.
And I mean, I am a Dr. Pepper fan. At one point, I had 9 T-shirts. Steph will attest to that. She was not happy. That even looks like a light shade of Dr. Pepper as well.
Yeah, it's like a cherry-ish color, right? So it's really nice. Sorry I didn't get the pour there, but
it's all right.
Yeah, and it's cherry cola for sure. I would say it's a little more cherry than the Dr. Pepper. Like, it doesn't taste exactly like Dr. Pepper, but it's yeah, they do get the cola in there, which is surprising how you can get cola out of a beer, but they do it. So
cherry cola. Get after that. Oh man,
was that a little Savage Garden I just heard?
It was a little Savage Garden, yeah.
Oh my god.
I mean, that's
good.
We did this one time. You and I were coming back from golf, I think, and we did like a little song trivia. And you had said to me, give me like 1 second, 2 seconds of a song, and I'll pick it out. And I put on, I'm pretty sure I put on Ants Marching.
Oh, easy. That's an easy one.
Like, and
give me one note.
That's Ants Marching immediately. Like, your music knowledge is incredible.
Thank you. Yeah. I love that song. That's one of my favorite songs ever. So.
Wait, the Savage Garden song?
No.
It's okay. It's okay
DMB.
If it is.
DMB.
Yeah. Little Dave Matthews. I knew a guy in high school, and this is like when Dave Matthews was incredibly popular, and that's all he would talk about, and he would always refer to him as Dave. And one night, we're sitting at his place, we're having a couple beverages, and he's going on, Dave this, Dave that, Dave this. I'm like, shut the, and I use a curse word there, about your friend Dave. Like, nobody cares. And then years later, I'd like download the albums and stuff. And so Brandon, if you're ever listening to this, sorry about that, man. You were right. You were right.
That was peak Dave Matthews back in like the late 90s, early 2000s. Yeah,
it totally was.
It's good stuff.
Okay.
Anyway, this cherry cola is lovely. It's good. So let's see what you got.
Yeah. Okay. So I hadn't been to the liquor store in some time because mostly I was grounded. I wasn't allowed to go because I had too many. And I didn't think that there's such a thing as too many, but then I started looking at both my fridges, and
there were a healthy surplus. It's
variety. But so I kind of stayed away from there. But I was debating yesterday, and I thought we had an hour. I said I'm going to go to the liquor store, so I went, and I found a couple of them, and then they're kind of some good ones that we had talked about, and I got to show them to you. I got to grip them here first because I've got them all back here, and I feel like you're going to really want these ones.
I was going to say,
that's
if you're
a cherry
gripping
pie.
Them,
that's a cherry pie
small
sour
can, and it's the left field. I knew it.
Yeah, I got 2 of these cherry pie sours. I've got 2 of these Concord grape sours, and then I distinctly remember a Thanksgiving where you decided that you and Krista, I think it was you and Krista, it might even been you and Carly, we're going to eat a box full of s'mores. So this one here is the sweet spot. It is the Mocha Marshmallow Stout from left field. So I have them.
I've not
They're
seen
here.
That.
I think I've had it. It's delicious. I have these ones here. They're for you as soon as we can get down and see you. But I kind of also went to the Blood Brothers Brewery yesterday, and I've got this little nice light baby. It's called Blood Light. Oh. It is the hazy pale ale at a whopping 4% ABV.
For an IPA? Interesting. That is a light.
Yeah.
Interesting, So I did see that one. I don't think I've seen it in there, but I did see that can before. But I never had it.
I think this is one of their staples or like one of their baseline beers. Like it's always there.
Yeah.
And I was cruising there. I was cruising their website yesterday because, like, I obviously want to buy all of the Auto Pop series that you have, and there was a couple other ones that I'm sure we'll get into Beer Adventures that you checked in the last 2 weeks that I really, really want because they looked amazing. But I saw this Blood Light, and I'm like, you know what? I just had a 11.5% maple Imperial Stout last week or last episode, and I've had a couple of 9%ers or whatever, and this one, nice light 4%.
That's a beauty. Oh, yeah, I like that can too.
Yeah, I do like the can, and I like their logo.
Yeah.
So
here
we go with this. Yeah,
good stuff.
So again, I'm not sure if I'm using the proper glass either, but I will describe this glass shortly. So here's the pour.
Oh yeah.
And don't foam over. Don't foam over. Oh, ironically,
talk to it.
Yeah, ironically. So a lot of people say you don't want lots of head or you don't want lots of foam on your beer. All the research I've done leading up to this episode is contrary to that. And these are like, these are brewers. These are.
Yep.
There is such a thing as a beer sommelier. You want that. The white in my glass right now, at the very top, about an inch worth, they say, is the flavor.
I saw that as well. That part of the glass impact on like a beer is like it creates or it maintains that little bit of the foam on the top, and it's not a bad thing. It's actually a good thing.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with a little head.
Nope. Okay, so first
Find
thoughts.
Someone that disagrees.
First thoughts on this one.
What do you think?
It's a beer. It's light. It's hazy. It's very fresh. It's crispy. There's a little bit of bitterness, but that's the pale ale part of it.
Crushable?
Oh, and it's ice cold. It's crushable for sure. 100%. Well done. Blood Brothers. Love it. And I really like their stuff, right? A couple of beers I've had.
Yeah, it's great, and like they really do the stuff that I like. Like they must have a couple of dark beers, but it's all this kind of palate stuff I like. So I was really impressed with, and I had never gone in there. I mean, we'll get into a little bit more, but they were just impressive with the stuff they had. Was just suited my own personal taste. For sure. So I walked out with a palate full. It was good. So.
Well, you sent me that picture the following day, and I think the caption was "Oops."
Oh, all the beer in the back seat.
All the beer in the back seat. Yeah, it was like a full flat of beers.
You know what?
That's really nice.
When I went there, the guy told me, I made a joke. I was like, all these beers, like I better set them in the front seat with me because I don't want them to tip over, roll, shake, all that stuff. And he's like, just like I'm just like, I'd be doing you a disservice if I didn't tell you that. Like, you're actually not supposed to put beer in the front seat for obvious reasons because the driver, they're not supposed to be within reach of the driver. But I kind of forgot that. It was mostly a joke, but I was like, I appreciate him like saying that to me. I was like, you know what, like, I have a long drive home, so
you never know. You just reach basketball. Over, right?
Exactly. Safety
first.
Trying
to hydrate. Yeah, trying to hydrate.
Exactly. Safety first. So Beer Adventures. Let's roll into that. Do you want to go? What have you?
Yeah, I mean,
we've been 2 weeks, right? So there's a lot of time in between 2 weeks. So
well, in 2 weeks, Baker's Dozen for me. That's what I had. Crushed 13 different beers. Notably, and I think
notable, yeah.
Yeah, and I think we should go back and forth on this one here because I really want to highlight something in Beer Adventures here. We've had a couple of things, but I almost finished up the beers from my New York City trip. I had a beer from that WeldWorks Brewing Company, again, out of Colorado. It was called Hypernova Wormhole. It was an IPA. It was a hazy IPA. It was delicious. Probably crushable. I think I had that the next beer after that Agamemnon that I had.
Oh, yes.
Very good. Very good. Palate changer by comparison, right? Another one I had out of the New York purchases was a pale ale by Amazing Brewing Company. Remember I told you that I bought a beer and it was just called Amazing Lager? It was the same company because it's amazing brewing company, and apparently they're out of South Korea.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, according to my check-in on Untapped, not a sponsor.
Didn't see that coming. Yeah.
Right? This beer, I was making supper, and I think in 3 sips the whole thing was gone. And it was a tall boy can. It was crushable, like the definition.
That's crushable.
Yeah, the definition. One of the other ones that I had, and I had it recently, and just to highlight it, a local brewery, Perth Brewery, I had the Mocha Stout. It was, it was like mid-range, midline or whatever. Mm-hmm. It was a coffee stout. It was very coffee. It was very stout. It was very good. 3 out of 5.
Yep.
Yep.
I mean, they're not all 5s, right? That's just reality. But
they're not.
But
and I've been on to some 5s lately. I've been crushing some 5s, and I'm into that 3.5 range. Nothing wrong with it.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't had to pour any out, so I mean we're still on the right side of the grass here.
That's always a good sign.
Yeah. What about you in the last 2 weeks? I still want to highlight something after, but I want to know what you've got.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
I'll go back to Blood Brothers. So they, when I walked in, it was after. It was actually not before basketball. It was after basketball. It was like 10:30. So I was.
Oh yeah.
I was ready to pick up a full load. So yeah, the Auto Pop series is kind of the first one. So that was the Cherry Cola one. What I have here. I also grabbed a Concord Crush, it's called, so a Concord Grape.
Yep.
And then the Tahiti Treat, the Tahitian Treat one, which you've had.
Yep.
Yeah, I had to try that. I'd never had it, so I got those
so
3.
Good.
And then they also do a Paradise Lost series, and it's some of the flavors they're sour beers. Some of the flavors are just awesome. They had a guava pineapple, which was great. They had a spiced cherry, which was awesome too.
Yes.
Then they had a blueberry vanilla spice, which actually was my favorite of the 3. Wasn't expecting that, but just a really nice combination. Those are great beers. Sour, but not like to the point where someone that doesn't like sour beers would try it and be like, "Oh, that's too much." Like I think the flavor just it's a nice flavor. So that was a great experience going to that place. It's 6 minutes from where I play basketball. So
perfect.
So I'll be back there for sure. I mean, if they do these kinds of beers in the winter, I don't know what they could pull off in the summer. So I'm very curious.
Yeah.
But it's like I said, it just suits my palate. I like the fruity beers, the sour beers, the lighter beers. And I didn't look for any stouts, but I didn't see anything that jumped out. I'm sure they have stuff, but I just saw all those and I literally was looking at the menu and I was just like, I'm reading down the list and I'm like, just give me 2 of all of these. And he's like, oh, okay. And I was like, I think I walked out with like 18 total beers.
Oh,
but
boy.
Yeah, I was just like, give me 2 of each. And I was quite pleased.
Well, I saw you check in that Paradise Lost series, and that blueberry one stood out to me. And I love blueberry. I think almost every blueberry beer that I've ever had has been a 4 minimum. And then when you checked, I didn't even know that existed until you checked it in. And I was very curious to hear what you liked about it or thought about it or whatever.
Yeah, just a really great combination, and you're right about blueberry. I don't think you could ever go wrong. It just seems like a really good combination. But the same thing with this, you could taste the vanilla, the spice. I mean, if you kind of use your imagination, I think it's there. But it's just a really nice combination. And of those 3, I really wasn't expecting that one to be the best, but it was. They're really good beers.
Perfect.
I did have the new. I think I told you about this already, but I had the new Epoch slushy from Third Moon. It was the mango banana berry. Yeah. And it was, I got to say, it was my least favorite of all of the Epoch ones. It wasn't bad. It just wasn't quite the same as the usual. I think it was just the combination of stuff. I think I got hung up on the banana part of banana berry, and I don't know if that's what they were going for. But it just, the combination was just all right. But I would drink them. I think I have 3 more of them. So, but it just, I guess it wasn't
for me.
Sure. Yeah. There's one for you for sure. At least.
Perfect.
I think it's solid, but I just was I think back to all the slushy beers.
Sure.
They're the slushy beers. It was probably near the bottom, but that's not a bad thing. It's still better than most. I was out last week with some work colleagues, and I tried the Rorschach Jolly Beans. It's like a gummy worm sour beer. Really, I didn't get candy, but really, really good, really tasty. I was actually shocked to see it on the menu, something like that. I was like, oh, I need that one right there. Like, it was no brainer. I was like, okay, that's definitely. Tell me you have that because I need that.
Yeah, need that.
Really
in my
tasty.
life.
Really tasty. Yeah. Two more. They it's funny because you talked about the Blood Light. Was that what it's called? Blood Light. Yeah. So
Blood Light. Yeah.
Blood Light. Yeah. So the this is gonna sound funny, but the Blood Brothers also do one called Wolf Blood. And I think of deer blood because of the shots we did that time. But wolf blood was this nice Kolsch. And it was, honest to God, the most like plain, nothing. I loved it. Like, I would crush like 6 of those. It was so smooth.
Really?
And so basic, but just so nice. The color was like almost like a citrusy yellow. But like, I was like, okay, I just need a beer, something nice. And it was like, just so smooth. I couldn't believe it. I would drink like 3 or 4 of those, no problem. Like Wolf Blood, just a very basic one of their beers. I was really happy. The last one, oh, my Red Wings just tied it. It's 1-1. The one I think that this could potentially steal the number 1 spot for you. I feel like
me.
Yes, for you. So I had one the other night. You probably saw it. It's the Third Moon. It's the peanut butter Beast of God.
Oh, yes. Each Beast of God peanut butter.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that
Please tell me more about this.
That's the thing. It's not my thing. I think I rated it like a 3 or a little bit under 3. But the coffee taste, as a non-coffee drinker, that definitely threw me off.
Oh, yes, I did see that.
Yeah, the peanut butter was like, you could taste it, but the coffee was so overwhelming. So to a non-coffee drinker, it was a little bit much for me. Not bad, just like wouldn't be something. But I thought of you instantly. I'm like, oh my God. If you throw the coffee flavor that you like in with some peanut butter, like, this is up there in the 4.5 to 5.
Throw a flag.
Throw the flag.
Throw the flags.
Yeah. So next time I'm going to grab one and it's got your name on it. So
perfect.
Yeah, I thought of you. I'm like, this could be near the top because you'd like that style for sure.
I love that stuff.
Yeah, so that was great.
I love it.
That was like, I guess that's 2 weeks worth, but some good adventures in there for sure.
Absolutely. I have one that I just want to touch on. So I think the last episode I mispronounced this name, and then I said I want to go there. So we went to Doghouse Brewery, the new location in Petawawa.
Yes, you did.
And the tap room is not open yet. They're still under renovations, but they are selling canned beer. Great news. So Krista and I went in there, and they have 4 beers right now. And I've had 3 of them. I have the 4th one in here, but all 3 of them, I've absolutely loved them. The first one, and they pay like they're named after a part of the military. So I met one of the founders named Brady. Hopefully we can hook something up that Brady can come on and share his story with us, and we can have a guest and do it on location or whatever, and we'll figure out how to get that done so we can have them come on and highlight their brewery and talk about beers and have a beer and all that stuff. I mean, their new location looks phenomenal. I cannot wait to go and sit there and have a beer in their actual space. You can see what they're brewing. They've got plans. That's not for me to tell. Hopefully we can get Brady on soon enough that he can come and share his plans. But the first one I had, and I thought about you instantly when I drank this one, it was called Royals, and it was a blueberry. I want to say it was a wit beer. I'd have to go back to Untapped, but remember the Gahan's blueberry that
PEI.
Mom was going on about? Like neck and neck. It had like
that's good.
I felt like maybe this was just my mind making it that way, but I felt like it had like a blueberry tinge to it. Like the beer itself. Yeah. It was so good. Crushable to the 100th degree.
Nice.
The next one I had was the Springbok Coffee Stout. It's an 8.2%. You would never know. It's so good. Wow. You probably wouldn't like it given the coffee flavor and whatever. It's probably 2.5 medium for you. But wow, was it ever good. It was so good. And their artwork on the cans, I loved it. They give a little blurb on the back about like what the beer is named after and a little bit of a history lesson for like one RCR, the Royal Canadian Regiment or whatever, and that was the Royals beer. And then
I like that. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, it's cool. Like Brady was, I loved his energy, and I'm really hoping that we can work together and get him on here. It'd be really cool to have a conversation with him about how they started and all that stuff.
Like, just to make that connection is great. Yeah.
Yeah.
You learn a lot, and it's just so different from everybody. They all have different perspectives, right? So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And finally, the last one I had was, it was called Breacher. It was an American pale ale, very malty, very cold, very good. I would take about 14 of those right now. So good. So
Only
good. I'm
14.
looking forward to the last one that's in the fridge right now. It's their amber. I feel like the amber's got to be paired with something like when I'm eating it, I gotta pair it so that it really accentuates it. That's my feeling with ambers, but yeah, I'm looking for the right time. I don't want to just drink it because I have to drink it or feel like I have to drink it, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah,
good stuff.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Looking forward to big things from them.
Yeah, that's cool. When they open up, it'll be full steam ahead.
Yep,
that's good. All right, well, that's Beer Adventures. That's you know what, 2 weeks is a lot going on in 2 weeks, so. Yeah, good times.
Absolutely.
So something I wanted to bring to your attention, and I want to get your reaction on this. So this just came out today. A little bit more of a serious note. So there's a certain Chester Cheetah-lookin mafk in the U.S. That kind of runs the presidency there. Mr. Trump. He's imposing tariffs on Canada. 25% of our goods. It's a real. It's a tough thing to swallow, given given that we're so close with them in terms of trade partners and stuff. So he's implementing those within the next month. So then we respond, of course, Trudeau, and say what you want about Trudeau. It's probably the right move to sort of at least fight back and stand up for ourselves. So anyway, he's imposing tariffs back that way. So what kind of fell into that category was alcohol, and then you got Premier Doug Ford, who doubled down and has said that they are going to be removing alcohol products from the LCBO. So as of Tuesday, we're going to be removing all of the American products in their LCBOs across Ontario. And a couple of the other premiers have also joined in. I think Nova Scotia and BC. I'm sure that most of them will follow. But what that means is that's 3,600 different products over 35 different states that Canada sells of U.S. beer, beer of alcohol products. So, like, I'm curious just your thoughts on, like, damn, that's a real blow to, like, I guess, variety, in terms of, like, you walk into the LCBO. I'm curious, and this is as of Tuesday coming up this week. I'm curious to even just walk into an LCBO and see what that looks like. Does that mean empty shelves, or does that mean they just pile on the domestic Canadian products in that place? But, like, that's just going to feel really strange. And like I said, it's not a funny thing. It's more of a serious thing. It's like, what are we doing here? Like, this is nuts. And I mean, not speaking from an alcohol perspective, but just that's the reality of, like, the day-to-day average person, right? Where this is now, you're impacting, like, daily lives, but, like, that's gonna feel a little weird come next week, and we'll see how long it lasts. But
100%, it'll be weird. Like, if you just want to go get a beer and maybe your beer is Bud Light. Or Miller Lite. Miller Lite is mine. Like, if I just want to go and have a couple beer or whatever, I'll buy a 6-pack of Miller Lite, and now you won't be able to get that. I purposely don't watch the news.
Yeah.
Because, like,
it's a good idea.
It's so wild these days. It's been wild for as long as I can remember, but
and this just came out early this morning. So this is, like, brand new, like, that they said this, so
I watched
right
a
away,
couple
I'm
of
like,
videos.
oh my God, that's a lot of product.
I watched a couple of videos, and then, of course, you go on socials, and they're like, okay, well, if you can't buy this, here's the Canadian equivalent. I'm all about supporting Canadian businesses and stuff, but, like, sometimes, American products is just better. Sometimes.
Yeah.
Right? But at the same time, I think, I don't know, I don't really know what to think, but
sprung that on you.
Yeah, first and foremost, Trump's a businessman, right? He's not necessarily the president. Now he just has power to do stuff. So he's trying to run his country like a business. Okay, totally get that. You want to bring it out of the red and closer to the black. Chances are it's not going to happen because it's a government and you have to spend money. I don't think that going after your continental neighbors is the right move, but at the same time, you know, you ask your neighbor for a cup of sugar or a glass of milk or whatever.
Or a Bud Light.
Or a Bud Light, you know, like... or
a Rolling Rock.
I can't see this, but I've been wrong before. I can't see this lasting long, and I can't see it going well.
That's what I think, too. I think like it's probably short-lived, and let's just hope it goes in the direction that... Let's hope they use February to figure some shit out. And... because it's just, it's really...
I heard Trudeau say that they're going to give people like a 21-day notice so that big companies can get their supply chain down. It's not going to happen, right? It's not going to happen in 3 weeks. It'll be better than, like, say, Tuesday. But at the same time, like, I don't know. I hope they get it figured out. I would hate for diplomatic relations to be so damaged in the next week that we have like a Far East kind of situation on our hands with a country that shares the same land masses, you know, like it'd be tough. We have lots of friends that are American. We have family that are American. That's obviously the biggest thing. Don't know what this is gonna do, but I do know that it will not affect just Canada, US, and Mexico. You have to think that China is going to play a factor at some point. That's a conversation for a different podcast. I don't really want to get into it.
Not
but
ours.
I mean,
that's the end of our political segment. But it's just like, it's interesting how like you hear about this stuff and like it actually comes down to the level of like, oh, there's going to be just beer missing from the beer stores. Like that's just, that's how it impacts like the daily person. Not to say that we're, put out by it, but it's like just going to be strange that like just the products
will be weird.
I can't see that it's going to last, but anyway, I just want to
hope not
highlight that as it just came out today, and it's just like where are we at? But like you said, it's a whole different podcast. So, so to transition from that to something lighter. So before we get into the glassware stuff, I wanted to run this by you. So I saw an article. Sure. I'm actually going to pull up the list here. So I saw an article on I believe it was called beeradvocate.com. So it just crossed my feed, and I was like, you know what? This is actually just a funny thing. So they came up with like 10 of the weirdest beer names that they've ever, like they say of all time, but it's like just 10 probably more recent beer names. All I'm going to do is read you some of these beer names.
Yes.
We can laugh, we can poke fun, whatever. But
Perfect.
Definitely moving on from the political part to this is ideal. So I'm already laughing.
I can't wait to hear this.
These are actual beer names, and they list the brewery too. So this was an article, from there. So I had to share it. So this is from. I'll just read 1 to 10, in no order. Actually, I'm going to save one for the very end. I find the best one. So these are beer names. So Burial Beer Company, called "I Once Left My Mind in a Bed-Stuy Juice Bar." That's the first one. That's a beer name. We got Dew Claw Brewing Company, Sour Me Unicorn Farts. I guess that's a sour beer.
Well, you'd hope so. You wouldn't want it to be a stout, would you?
Right? Evil Genius Beer Company, and they don't say where these are, but they have one called Purple Monkey Dishwasher. So 3 very random things. Your guess is as good as mine as to what that is.
Oh, man.
We have one from Gigantic Brewing Company called "The Cat Ate My Stash and Pissed on the Christmas Tree." I don't know what that is.
I feel like that's like a 3 a.m. relatable thing. It's like, I got to get this work done for the boss in the morning. Ah, man, the cat ate my stash, pissed on the Christmas tree. Hey, wait a second. That's a great name for an IPA.
Right.
Right? Like
green color.
Yeah, submit that and see if the boss goes for it.
Have that report on my desk in the morning. Gilman Brewing Company has one called Intergalactic Dad Pants. Sure, it's probably a good dad beer.
Sure.
Other Half Brewing Company has one called Double Potato Spaghetti Town.
I wonder what the innuendo is there.
Should be paired with spaghetti? I don't know.
I don't know.
The Vale Brewing Company has one called I'm Derek Jeter.
I'm Derek.
I mean, does Derek Cheeter know about this beer? And is he a part of it?
You would hope so.
You'd think. Thirsty Planet Brewing Company has one called "A Hot Mess Inside a Dumpster Fire Inside a Train Wreck."
Ooh.
I don't know what that could be, but I picture flames on the can.
Yes. A red can, maybe?
It reminds me of that Dynamo one that's made by
Furnace Room.
Furnace Room, yeah.
Yeah.
With the red
flames all over it, yeah.
Flames in a train coming through. Two more. We have Youngblood Beer Company has one called the John Wick of Cheeseburgers.
What does that even mean? Like it's a killer? I don't know. The John Wick of cheeseburgers?
I may have to research these beers to see. I think the next piece of this is to see what they are, what beers they are, or if they have a can. So maybe for the next episode, I'll put a little update out there and say, oh yeah, here are these beers. Here's what they actually are. And finally, you ready? This is a mouthful, this one. This is a beer name. Everyone keep in mind. Evil Twin Brewing in New York City. They actually had the NYC in there.
Oh.
Beer name.
Okay.
Hey, Dad, did you change the password on your Disney Plus account? My ex-girlfriend is trying to use it and can't get in. I don't understand. And I think the point is you're not supposed to understand.
Excuse me. Oh, man. Like, that's...
There's creativity and there's creativity. Like, oh, man, that is... So yeah, like this article dug up some whatever. I think that's all U.S. stuff, if I had to guess. But yeah, they totally put that list, and I can't argue. That's some weird stuff.
Hey, Dad, did you change the password on your Disney Plus account?
My ex-girlfriend is trying to use it and can't get it. I need to see the artwork. Oh my gosh. Now glassware, everyone. Oh my god. So good. I'm actually excited. When we end this tonight, I think I have to go look all of those up and just to see. Oh man.
Oh, legit tears rolling down my face, man.
And maybe the next episode, the update, I can include some pictures for the YouTube channel. While we're talking about them, I could put them up on the screen and like we can really see. So that's the entertainment portion of the show.
That's gold, Jerry. That's gold.
Right?
Oh man, like when I heard you say it the first time, I'm like, all I could think about was, have you ever followed like on any social media or whatever that's like text conversations between two people?
Oh god,
it's like,
yeah.
So I felt like it was one of those. Like I could picture the green or blue bubble in my head.
Oh my god!
And then being on the can, and then the more I heard it in my head after you had said it, the funnier it got to me. I hope that person got a raise. If they don't own the company, I hope they got a raise.
Well, you know how the Untapped has the wish list?
Yes.
I feel like I should add all 10 of those to the wish list and just see what happens. Oh my
see
God.
if you can find them nearby.
Yeah, well, I think they're all U.S., but I don't know that. So let me research each one. I want the two things. I want to see like what type of beer it is, maybe what where the brewery is, and then like what the artwork looks like. I just want to find out those things. So for now, we get just the list. It's just the names.
Evil Twin.
So this is where beer has come from 25 years ago, and you got Labatt's. You got, and it's like now you got cats pissing on Christmas trees and Disney passwords and Derek Jeter and
Oh my gosh! Anyway, I'm glad you saved that one to the end, though. I wouldn't have heard any other one.
It was number 4. It was number 4 on the list, and I thought, no, I have to save that one. To the end.
That's so good. That's so good.
Too funny. Okay, now that we caught our breath, so we're going to talk about glassware, and I know glassware sounds very formal, like you'd be shopping in the Bay for a set of glasses, but really like beer, it's like part of beer is how you drink beer, and I think part of that is like the it's the glass, right? Because it can affect things like the flavor, the smell, the aroma, the presentation, and it can bring out like a different glass to drink a beer in. Like you have a whole display behind you; they're all different shapes and sizes and thicknesses. And I think like it can highlight beer's unique characteristics. Like it sounds like it's like a little bit over dramatic to say that, but I think casual beer drinkers often don't think of that, or they drink it from the can. There's nothing wrong with that. But I think like when you actually think of trying beers, if you're more into like the sampling of beers, which like that's kind of the untapped nature, right? So the beer glass can make a difference. It doesn't necessarily to the average person, but like a beer glass could mean a little more enhancement to the beer. So yeah, it's like, so I was more curious, like we did a little research and like why we choose certain beers. Why is it important? Like how do you choose one based on the style of beer or the style of glass, the shape, the thickness, all that stuff. It's like, you know, it's something that you mentioned to me a few weeks ago, and I thought like, yeah, that's actually something I don't know a lot about, and I'm curious to know like, you know, if I want this kind of beer, what would you know, they probably do a good job of that in like restaurants and bars where they serve you in the right glass, but you don't always think of it. So if you're at home and you like want to say collect glasses or just drink certain beers, like what's the best way? So you I think you unearthed some information. You have a little bit of bit of stuff. Yeah.
So I mean, first and foremost, the best glass to drink a beer out of is your favorite glass. Doesn't matter what it is. It's
I like that.
It's your favorite glass. It makes your Red Wings chalice, whatever beer it is. It just makes everything taste better, look better when it's your favorite, I think. Yeah. So
look good, feel good, right?
That's it. Look good, feel good, play good, drink good, eat good, something like that. I don't know. Dion said it. I'm sure he's watching. I'll get an email. You'll get a scathing email like that other one that we got. But yeah, I mean, I did do some research, and I did kind of throw this out at you a couple weeks ago. More or less, like I'm as much of a novice as anybody else, but it's a topic that I'm interested in because I'm such a beer fan, and I'm such a beer fan of all different styles and flavors and what they're doing with beer. I mean, I still have the tears rolling down my face, so what they're doing with beer names, they're doing with beer as equally, right? I have a collection that I've created over time, and just like you do with pictures, I do with beer glasses, like to commemorate a time that I was at a certain place, right? I have a Lake of Bays glass that I bought from the Baysville location when we went and visited and sat down and had our flight and all that stuff. And so I remember that. But then there's a bunch of other different styles and, like you said, thicknesses, and everything you said in the lead up is true from what I have read and seen. It's to enhance the styles, it's to enhance the flavors, it's to enhance the aromas, the colors. You want that foam at the beginning, but I figured I would go on and just highlight, or not even highlight, but talk about a couple of different styles of glasses. And I mean, we can talk about it afterwards too, but the first one that is like pretty generic, and it's the glass that I'm using right now. What they call is the mafk pint glass.
So your pint, like a shaker, like a pint shaker glass?
Yeah, it's like a shaker glass or whatever. It's got a very wide opening at the top. It's got a thick base. It's got a very like easy V down from the top of the glass to the base. It's a decent thickness that you're not going to really heat up the glass itself as you are holding it. It's an easy drinking one.
Would that be like the type of glass they'd give you at a bar where you get like a picture? Let's say you're like, hey, let's grab a picture, and they give you 2 glasses, you and your buddy. Like, would that be the style that they usually would? Like that's what you're pouring your Coors Light or whatever your Canadian whatever it's the picture
typical,
is. Yeah.
It's your typical one. And I'm sorry, it's not the mafk pint glass. It's an American pint glass is what the style of glass is called. There is a mafk pint glass, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah, I mean, it's the most cost effective for everybody else to buy them, like bars and restaurants and stuff.
They're take that out of our stores next week.
Yeah, they're very generic.
American.
That's it. You know, like it's a good sturdy glass. It's the glass that when you were 21 years old drinking at a bar or a restaurant that you snuck into your girlfriend's purse or something. It had Rickard's Red or something. Don't look up there. Let's block that one there. And just kidding. But yeah, I mean, it's your standard. It's a go-to glass. I have many of them here, and every beer that I've drank out of them has tasted good. So that is a good type of glass.
That's a pint taken.
That is.
What you got next? After a
sip. Yeah.
Yeah. Hydrate.
The next one is a tulip pint glass. So, ooh. I mean, as the name would sound, it starts thin at the bottom or the base and then works its way up and then kind of bulbs into a tulip. The biggest thing that you can think about this glass, think Guinness.
Oh, yeah.
What Guinness gets served in typically is called a tulip glass. They also call this the Guinness glass. So it's good for dry Irish stouts. It's good for darker beers. Again, it's a good hearty glass, thickness-wise, easy to engrave or monogram, cost-effective. Yeah, it's a good all-around glass.
I like the engraving part. That's good. Yeah, because like we've done that, and I have the glasses here for you, but
I can't wait to get one.
It's you got two here, but the engraving's kind of cool, right? So if you get like, I guess my thought is like I kind of like personally like the plain glasses with no like I know you're gonna get them with the beer logo and stuff, but then you're drinking not that beer in that glass, but
and then you feel weird.
I like the thought of engraving stuff. That's kind of cool. Yeah.
Yep. I mean, the other thing too is like you could picture the American pint glass as like a water glass. Or the tulip pint. I mean, they come as like water glasses. So, yeah, think of it like that way. But there's really, I don't even really know how to say this. But I mean, the aroma, because of the wide nose or the wide opening, you're getting all that flavor from those beers, right? So that's kind of why they're ideal or very versatile, very generic for everything. The other thing too with the tulip is that it's got that round shape, so that as it's coming down from the base of the glass towards, like as you tip it back towards yourself, it kind of rolls into that little dip in the bulb, what they call it, and then it just fluffs up the flavor or whatever because it's rolling. It's giving it a little bit of a aeration kind of deal.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
So yeah. One of the basic ones as well, as you'll see this a lot in the UK from what I understand, is the Nonic pint glass. So it's a shaker glass, very similar to this one with the V. The only difference is that about an inch down, it's got a little bulge in the side.
Oh, the
it's
bulge.
Got like a little, it's got a little bulge there. Mm-hmm. It's more for darker styles from what I've come up with. Porter, stouts, dark lagers, Schwartz beers. Easy to handle. You can cheers easy with it. I mean,
a little more forceful.
I don't know. I mean, these are pretty basic glasses that I feel like if you're starting up your glass collection, these would be pretty easy to get right away. So
I like that. Yeah. I'm going to probably start looking into like just those types of glasses. So even just some very basic information helps.
Yeah, they're readily available on Amazon. I've seen some stuff on Temu. That's a pretty... I bought some glasses off Temu. Yeah. They're good quality as well, and they're cheap.
Yeah.
I mean, cost-effective.
Still intact. Yeah.
That's it. You got a typical Pilsner glass. We can understand what a Pilsner glass is.
That's the tall one, right?
That's the tall one,
skinny, yeah.
But it goes like from the top and it kind of goes straight down to the base. And that's more to preserve the light flavor and the fluffiness of the head that they call it. So you want a nice light head. And as you pour it into the glass, it'll just kind of, because of the way that it's shaped, not rounded, when it hits the bottom of the glass or the base, it kind of fluffs up and then it'll bubble up with you're releasing the carbon dioxide out of the can. So that's what gives you the foam. And then it just builds on the backside of the glass to the top. Does that make sense?
Yep. I can picture it. I do have a couple of those. Yeah.
Yeah. I have a couple as well. And they're good. I just don't drink a lot of Pilsners. But now that I know that, I'll save them. So
it's one of those glasses too where you feel like because of the length of it, it feels like it's a lot, but it's really not.
It's not.
Like when you take a pretty good sized gulp, but it's like 3/4. It's like there's 3/4 left. Like it's it's like a 4 or 5 drink glass sometimes where you're like, wow, that looks like a lot more, but
yeah. So I mean, and your typical glasses are 16 ounces, right? If you're getting anything less, then you're not fitting a tall boy in there. Most craft beers are tall boys as well, so you want a glass that fits your entire beer. And you don't have to keep pouring it in and pouring it in and pouring it in. Like, you don't want a 12-ounce glass if you're buying it. You don't want a 14. Just get a 16. You'll fit your beer.
Well, I thought about that when I ordered the customized glasses for us, and I thought, okay, what's like 473 mil is a tall boy, and I thought I at least want that to contain like to the very tip like of tall boy, and it does.
Yep.
You just gotta be careful with the foam, but like it'll hold the whole thing. And the glass itself, it's like the shape of a beer can. Yep. So it's a different shape for sure, but it does right to the very tip. It holds the full thing, and I was like, I at least want that.
Yeah. And ironically, like in the research that I did, I didn't come across the beer can shaped glasses as part of glassware. It's like it's almost like novelty.
Like a custom thing, yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like novelty or decorative, or it's not really functional, I guess. But I mean, if it holds liquid, and liquid being beer, then it's a beer glass.
I don't think it falls into a category, right? Like I think it's just like it's a custom thing that I saw, and it was the only one I think that offered the engraving. So I was like, oh, it looked neat though, because it looked like a can. It even came in at the top, so the very top of the lip was smaller than the rest of the can, so it came up like a beer can would look, or a pop can, or. Yeah, so it was neat. Yeah, so I don't know what beer, gets enhanced by that, but it's kind of cool.
All of them?
It's a nice
all of them would be
enhanced? Exactly. It's small. It's like, it's small but holds a tall boy, but it's just nice.
Perfect. That's all you want.
See the beer, right? It's perfect.
Well, that's this guy. Oh, no, that other guy. I used him downstairs. That's a Doghouse Brewery glass right there that I got last week. Yes. I have one of those beer can glasses down there, and it holds the tall boy real well. But again, like you said, I don't know what it enhances.
Mm-hmm. The visual for sure
promotes drinking. Yes. I'll tell you that. Okay, so we were talking about the tulip pint glass. There is also a thing called just the tulip glass, which is typically for Belgian style beers or wit beers or anything that you can get a frothy head out of there.
Those are my jams. Yeah, I like the wheat beers and the German beers. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, the bulb itself, it's excellent for swirling around so that you can keep aerating it and whatever. Mm-hmm. And, yeah, that's one of the things that you would use that for.
Interesting.
One of my favorite glasses that I own is called the Teku stemmed glass. It's a newer style, but it's basically a big wine glass.
Oh.
Yeah, so I have one here, and I'll pull it down. I got it from the Hop Society, which sadly we discovered is no longer in operation. But it looks like a wine glass, and it's got this great big bulb on it, and it's got like a square top at the front, or at the very top. This is perfect.
I think I have a light picture in my house that looks like that, actually.
Right? Oh, upside down, maybe?
I need to try that.
You put a candle in it? But it's one of my favorite glasses, and you should highly invest in one of these because it's perfect for sours.
Yes.
Yep. It's perfect for sours because it gives you that aroma, and it's got that wide base at the bottom. And you're going to want to use it so that you can hold the stem. Now, I mean, you're going to feel kind of weird holding the stem of this glass, but you hold the stem, and the Italian brewers that developed this in the year 2006, so it's not even that old. I mean, Italy, big wine place. They developed this beer glass on the same principles. You hold the stem so that you're not heating your beer up. Sour beer, I feel like, is a little bit... You got to drink it cold. So if you hold the stem, you're eliminating that touching, I don't even know what the word would be, but like you're not transferring your body heat to the glass, and because it's thin. It's very, very thin glass.
Yeah, it makes sense for a sour beer too.
Pint glass. Yeah,
the sour beer, like as nice as they are, that when they get to warm, you kind of almost think of giving up at a certain point. That they're more of an efficient drink. Like
that's enough of that.
Yeah.
So I mean, I really like that. So it's a versatile glass too. It's not just for sours. You can also pour IPAs into there.
That makes sense. I've seen IPAs in those style too.
Yeah, anything that has like a non-traditional beer flavor, the Teku stemmed glass would be a perfect glass for it. Perfect.
I like it.
Couple of honorable mentions here is a stout glass.
Yep.
Stout glass is not a Stein.
Right.
It's not an American pint glass. It literally looks like a tulip pint glass, but shorter. So it's got an angled base. It's got I would say a thin bottom, but then it kind of angles up, and then it connects to like a tulip bulb, what a tulip bulb looks like, and then goes up from there.
Damn, okay? It's like architecture. This is like...
Yeah. So a couple of guys from the U.S. recently, they... I don't know exactly who the owners are or whatever, but it was like a collaboration. They designed this glassware together. It was the Left Hand Brewing Company and Rogue Ales. So I know that Graham has had Rogue Ales, and we've had a couple of their beers.
Yep.
But they're West Coast based breweries, and in collaboration with each other, they developed this through testing of different glassware that type of glass produced the best notes and flavors of stouts. I've been drinking it all wrong this entire time because I thought those were IPA glasses. They are not. So I will be putting stouts in there the next time I have one, and we'll see what happens. There is
chaos.
Who even knows what we're doing anymore? But there's one more glass that I want to talk about. And like I said, I thought that I bought them as IPA glasses, but they end up being stout glasses now that the research is done. But an IPA glass is the exact same thing, except for where the bottom part is is smooth on a stout glass. It's got 3 little dimples in it. So I mean, you can hold it easier at the bottom.
Yeah.
But Sierra Nevada and Dogfish Head Brewing developed this together. These are massive IPA forward breweries out of the U.S. I've recently had a Dogfish Head IPA when I was in New York City. It was amazing. I didn't even know how big they were at the time until after I came back. I wish I knew that then, and I could even further revel in the success of that beer. However, it makes sense, though, because you've got a hoppy beer or a bitter beer, and you just want to aerate it. So that's what those dimples do. As you're tipping it back into your mouth, it swirls into that bulb, because it's a tulip bulb on the top again, because I guess the tulip is the most favorable shape for beer. I don't know if you know this, but the Dutch know a thing or two about beer.
I've heard so.
Yeah.
Yes.
So they use that shape the most, and then with the aeration or the 3 little nubs, as you're tipping it back, it just kind of goes over and goes over and goes over, and then drops into that into that tulip bulb.
Science is crazy,
and it just keeps fluffing up all the beer scent, the delicious beer scent. So yeah,
that's crazy.
And it is, right?
I'm sure there's so many like of each sort of category. There's so many side. I'm sure there's just so many shapes and sizes and different side brands of the different glass types, right? Like you could go for hours on different types. So
and I mean,
now I'll just be more aware when I'm looking to be like kind of research that and then see what, because I kind of want to see what like I could order, but like I'd probably start with the sour beer and the wheat beers because those are my favorites, and start there and work my way through.
Like I said, any glass, you can use any glass. You don't have to use it.
Right.
I'm just saying, like, I thought this topic was very interesting. If I can drink a beer out of the proper glass, I will. Just to kind of see, like, is it gonna make it better?
It's true.
I can attest that a sour beer out of that stemmed glass is pretty darn good, especially in July.
I can attest that a sour beer out of a shoe is pretty damn good. Actually, I can't attest to that, but I can imagine. Can use my imagination.
Well, and there are like the boots and stuff, and there's other glassware out there. It's more or less just to say, hey, like, we can do all these things with craft beer. Why not make a glass to drink it out of that's proper, that will give you everything that they're going for, right? Like the chocolate notes or the piney notes or the blood orange. You know what I mean? Like the possibilities are endless, especially with craft beer these days.
Nice. That's true, man. There's a lot out there. Well, thanks for the 101, man. That's interesting. And I think like it's actually kind of cool too. My last thought on this is like, if you have a little bar in your house and like you have a setup, it would be kind of cool to be able to, if you have some friends over and you're serving beers and it's like you're able to pull one of the glasses that like it's kind of a little showpiece kind of thing, right? But like
it's a bit of a flex.
Yeah, a bit of a flex, exactly. And if you have a little collection going, it looks kind of cool in the background too, right? So, yeah, that's the Canadian dream.
Like this collection?
Exactly. I need to start. I do have a bunch in. I do have a bunch in one of my cabinets, but I feel like I have to look at them and go, "What is this?" and kind of say like, and they're kind of older now, so like I kind of want to add some actual proper ones for at least to start the beers I like, and then kind of grow it from there. But
and I mean, if you're at a brewery, you're kind of trusting them to put their beer in the right glass, but if they're only giving you an American pint glass, it's still going to be good.
Yeah.
I don't like, we're probably talking small percentage points that it's going to either increase or decrease the experience, right?
Yeah.
And
most people wouldn't even know. So
no, that's probably not the point. I mean, if you can taste the 150 IBUs, great, good for you. But if I put it in a stout glass, you're not going to taste it.
This is disgusting.
Not taste it. This is 149 IBUs. What are you doing? Come on.
Gross.
This swill. Anyway,
that's good stuff, man. Well, a jam-packed episode. That was
another
fun.
One.
That was fun. My cheekbones still hurt from laughing at the names earlier.
I like that. I like that when you find something that's like crazy funny. Nothing else is fun. Nothing else is as funny afterwards. Like this is some funny stuff. But you're just
maybe
like,
I should have saved that to the end of this podcast. So
I used all my laughing energy on that one thing. I've got nothing left.
Gotta have a nap.
It's almost bedtime.
It is it's 9 p.m. So another jam-packed show, and all the socials. We'll hit all those up. Love the follow, love the interaction. I know we say this every time, but it's really fun to see. It's fun also to hear people saying like, "Hey, you guys haven't done an episode," or "Hey, when's the next episode?" So time's been an issue lately, but we do want to make it consistent. But I love when people are actually like looking forward to it. That's just a fun feeling.
Yeah, it makes you feel good, right? Like, we love doing this. I know that when I share it with the family or whatever, we get pretty good reviews and stuff, but hearing people that don't necessarily have a vested interest or the close familial connection, and they are asking for the next episode, it's a good feeling. It makes me feel like we're doing something right. So hopefully we just keep this train rolling.
Fun as hell, man. Well, man, that's a pint taken. Until the next one, which hopefully in a week's time we'll deliver. Yeah,
stay tuned. We got a big episode maybe next week. Maybe a preview episode next week, if you know what I'm saying.
We'll see.
We'll see how it goes. We'll see what the timing allows. We talked last week. It's like, oh, we're going to do this weekly. That was 2 weeks ago. So.
Yes. Not bi-weekly. But I mean, weekly, yeah.
Yeah, we'll it's quality over quantity, right? We could put out an episode 2 times a week if we were just shooting the breeze and having a beer together.
Yeah. That's true.
We just talk.
Exactly. Fun for us. But...
Yeah, it's fun for us. But if we're not talking about things that are pertinent.
Yeah, relatable.
Yep.
Excellent.
Yes, sir.
Cheers, bud.
Cheers.
Till next time.
My man.